voice behind the door.
Seriously. All right, we're gonna open the meeting for October 13th for the Board of Selectmen at 4:32. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So in order to help out Chris, we are going to go out of order down to items not reasonably anticipated at the time of the posting. And we have an update from Chris on the equipment at Town Hall.
Yep.
Can you come out here and give us some feedback on what's happening?
Good evening, everybody. So we had a equipment failure over in the main meeting room. Our main machine that records all of the meetings for broadcast died. It was 6 years old. It's due for a replacement, and we're meeting over here tonight because we don't have a working system over there right now. So I would like to expedite getting that replaced. I had a tech from HP Communications come out a week or two ago, and we tried to diagnose it. I did a system restore on it. We tried everything. The operating system's no longer supported. The equipment's, way discontinued. So I'd like to get that replaced with something new. That should give us at least, 4 more years of, uninterrupted operation with that. So I have a quote to update that and a couple other things that were on there because we were looking at doing that anyway. If you need me to just break that off and just replace the thing that died, I'm happy to do that, but that's, what I had ready to go because we sort of were expecting this to need replacing, and it happened last month.
Is the thing that you were planning to replace, is that the 20,000 or the 10,000 or both?
It's the first 2 lines, I believe. Let me just pull that up so I can.
Yeah, it's a new tech TriCaster.
Yep, the TriCaster. The NC1 is a module that we need to accommodate all of our cameras. There may be a newer product of that doesn't need that, so I'm just double checking on that one piece. But it should be the same price or less if that is the case. But yeah, that'll give us, we have 6 cameras over there, and without that module, it only had room for 4. So that's why that's on there. And then we've got the warranties for, I believe it's 2-year initial coverage, and then another year or 2, I believe. And then some of the other stuff that's towards the bottom on there is the installation, replacing the backup recording decks, because those are no longer supported. So if those were to break, I want those updated. The only reason we had the file from the week after this died is because of the backup decks. So
How often does this stuff go end of life?
I would say every 4 years it should be totally replaced. Yeah.
Well, that's a different question, right?
Oh.
So there's,
Oh,
when
how
stuff's-
often?
when does a manufacturer say this is no longer
Right.
being developed, there's no parts or support for it?
It's different there's a couple different components, that system runs an operating system, that's Windows, that's whenever Windows decides that, Windows
support
7
that,
is no
right.
longer supported. New Tech, that's also, that's their piece, so they either discontinued that product or, have updates or new. So it's a couple different things. It could be more than one thing, I guess,
Okay.
is the answer to that.
So this, and I know I'm the only one that has the quote, but, so this quote is for 45,000 and some change.
Yep,
That plan is to come out of the cable fund.
cable, yep.
And I think what would be best if we all vote to approve that, because I don't think I could just approve that. But I'm not sure if that needs to go out to bid. That's probably something you should talk to Denise about with
Okay.
Catherine.
Yeah.
To figure out what the process is so that if it gets approved, I'm sure it will, because right now we don't have anything over there.
Yeah.
But does anybody have any questions on? Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make sure we check the balance in the cable fund because we didn't renew the contract yet, so we don't have
I think last was 250 or
We had quite a
350?
bit, I
Yeah.
thought, yeah.
Okay.
There was
So
a couple of 100,000 in there, so this
Right.
isn't gonna eat
We should
it.
be covered. I mean, we were basically planning on doing this beginning of this current year, but with
Okay.
COVID and everything, that kinda
kind of slowed it down.
got
So
crazy.
are we still getting our monthly payments to the fund, or?
Quarterly.
Quarterly
Quarterly.
payments,
Quarterly we
I
are?
don't know that changed because we didn't change the contract.
Right, so that should be ongoing, okay.
Yeah, I
good.
believe, and again, I don't know
No, I
100%, but I believe we did an extension, so I think we're still operating.
Under the same existing.
Right.
Under
Yes.
that, I could be
That
wrong,
was my
but
understanding too, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, anything?
It's gotta be fixed.
Jason?
Yeah, and it was discussed before, so everything was all gonna get fixed
Ed?
this year, like you said.
No, it should be done. If you get the okay, what's the time frame to get it done?
I'm not entirely sure. I think a couple weeks, hopefully sooner than that. I talked to Michael from UMS, and I believe he said one of his vendors had one in stock, so it might be real fast, or it might be a few weeks. I will update you as soon as I know.
Do you know if this item is listed on the bid list?
That's a good question.
If it's on a bid list, then it doesn't need to go out to bid.
Okay, I will look into that.
Denise would know that.
I know our old systems integrator was on the Massachusetts bid list. I believe that was OFF 30B. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it was. I'm not sure about Michael. I'll have to ask and find out. But I can let you know what he says.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, I mean, Denise could probably look it up, but
Yeah.
if they are, then you can just do it. But,
Okay, great.
definitely check with her to make sure that the process is followed, so it's,
Okay, let me just make a note of that.
Should we let Catherine kind of take the lead and go to Denise if she needs it? Isn't Catherine supposed to be trying to step into procurement?
well, Catherine is, I guess, in training, kind of.
Well, yes.
But I think Chris has the technical background to explain what happened, so he should be involved.
Yes, but I'm wondering if he should just,
Well, Catherine should be there anyways.
yeah, right, so she gets familiar with all of the bid list and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so,
I believe all we need is a purchase order if it doesn't have to go out through the bidding process.
Just a quick question, is this the best Band-Aid solution, or is this the best long-term solution?
Oh, this is a long-term replacement. Yeah, this will last us at least 4 years, maybe longer. I mean, we got 6 years out of the last system, and that was probably 2 years longer than we should have gone with it. But, yeah, this is a pretty rock solid. We used that other system basically every day since we did the other upgrade, 24/7. And really, we had almost no issues with that system, ever.
Now, I don't know a lot about these systems, I imagine there's competition and everything, right?
Yeah,
Is this the best solution for us?
I think so.
At the best price?
It's what our operators have been trained on. I think it's a great system. It records multiple file types and things that are, compliant and efficient for our broadcast servers. So we basically just get the file over and it's ready to go. Yeah, I would say it's the best that's out there in terms of the live broadcast, switching, recording, game. If I was frustrated with it, I would be looking elsewhere, but I'm not. It was pretty solid.
So you looked at other options then?
Yep.
okay, good. Someone want to make a motion on it? Jason does.
I don't wanna make a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve $45,000 coming out of the cable TV money to update the equipment at the town hall.
Make it 46, I think they're gonna need it.
I was gonna say it's 45,165, but if you could amend that to 45,165, that's the total on the quote.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Kathy, you good?
No further discussion.
Bill, good? Jason, good?
I'm good.
That's good. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Unanimous.
Thanks, guys.
Just let us know what happens, all right?
I will. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Hopefully I have an answer tomorrow on the time frame for it.
Okay. Catherine, is there anybody on Zoom? Mike Dempsey. Of course Mike's on there. All right, let's do the warrants. Jason, you wanna do the warrants?
Sure.
Nice.
Make a motion to approve payroll warrant 2115 in the amount of $162,610.75.
I'll
Second.
second that.
And a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
I
Unanimous?
make a motion to approve bill warrant 2114 in the amount of $4,369.72.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I don't think this is included in the 1.25 million that breaks down this. Do we know what exactly this 4,300 is?
I really don't, she just handed it to me. Sorry.
It will be over there.
Oh, can you bring it now? I can bring it to you.
He wants 2114, right? The 4,000.
2114.
4,369,
Yeah, he
yep.
just wants to know what that consists of. So this happened once before and Denise told us. it was
Yeah, it's
like-
probably just minor. Usually it's lumped together with one,
Correct.
and then
Probably
you
the
have
way
the
it was billed.
breakdown, so. Property and casualty insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
Unanimous?
Make a motion to approve bill warrant 2115 in the amount of $1,250,592.96, which breaks down to the town of $109,413.99. Water and sewer, $65,264.33. Payroll withholding, $50,502.24. Lights and bills, $78,467.06. Grants and revolving, $26,089.93. Pentucket assessment, $920,855.41.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
Thank you. Next up, we have approval of minutes. We have the minutes from executive session, June 24th, 2020.
Motion to approve executive session minutes from Wednesday, June 24th, 2020.
I'll
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
Next up, minutes from executive session, August 7th, 2020.
Motion to approve executive session minutes from Friday, August 7th, 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Abstain.
And then we have minutes from executive session, August 27th, 2020.
Motion to approve executive session minutes from Monday, August 27th, 2020.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Abstain.
4 yes, 1 abstain. All right, next up, we have COVID discussion.
So,
Um,
I don't know if anyone's following the colors.
yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple of things I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
So, I have been following the colors. Haverhill went red, we went yellow.
Yellow.
But there's a bit of a discrepancy on the numbers. So, I have a couple of questions around how we're reporting, and I think, West Newbury has this, update that they print
Uh-huh,
on a weekly basis
okay.
that goes out to, I guess, the residents or onto their website. But I don't think we're doing that,
No,
which I think we should be doing that. So they're doing the contact tracing, they're updating everything in Maven, they're updating the school, they're updating everybody in town, they're updating the state. So this kind of information, we should be doing as well. All right,
okay. Who's doing that, do you know?
this is West Newbury.
No, but I mean,
Who?
actually, who?
West Newbury Board of Health. This one last posted on October 9th. The other issue that I had a discussion on the other day was not only from a resident, but she's a nurse, and she's part of the contact tracing. So I'm gonna read what she had sent me, and then we can have a discussion on it.
Okay.
Okay? So I added a little bit to this because I want to make sure that this is clear. This conversation is not going to be easy, okay? From my perspective, this conversation is not meant to place blame or to embarrass anybody. My intention is to provide information to elicit change that can help the town, the students, the organizations that service the town. So I talked to this woman mid-last week or so, and I was very surprised at what she was telling me was happening and not happening. So, hi Mike, thank you again for taking the time to listen to my concerns earlier in the week. As you requested, here are the key issues that have come to light since school has been in session regarding the Groveland Board of Health. The Pawtucket Regional School District is struggling to get accurate information from the Groveland Board of Health in regards to COVID-19 cases. Every case needs to be considered in terms of whether or not it has an effect on the Pawtucket Regional School District. This can only be determined by an in-depth investigation by the public health nurse. The residents of Groveland are being traced by the Contact Tracing Collaborative, CDC. This is an organization to put in place to assist cities and towns that have become overburdened by high COVID-19 numbers. This is not helpful for the Groveland residents or the Pawtucket school system because there is a significant delay, up to 3 days after the test has been received in Maven, in receiving information at the town level, and that is too long when a child needs to be kept out of school because they have tested positive, needing to isolate, or been exposed, needing to quarantine. It puts the entire school district at risk when it could have been prevented. The school nurses and I have had to investigate Groveland cases ourselves in order to get the much-needed education to the parents and the information that is needed to determine next appropriate actions. I have heard concerns regarding public health in Groveland from the Bagnell staff, the Groveland parents, the school committee, Pawtucket Regional School District, Groveland businesses, and even from town employees themselves. They have expressed that the Board of Health has not provided education to them on COVID-19, what they need to know about the process and how they can stay safe, how they should be running their businesses in a safe way. They have not actively participated in reopening of the schools or the Pawtucket Regional School District ongoing efforts to keep our students in school. The Board of Health has been nowhere to be found. The Groveland public health nurse is ineffective in infectious disease surveillance, given she does not understand the metrics, where to obtain them, or what they mean. She does not understand the current COVID-19 guidelines, the process of contract tracing, or where to go to learn this information. This may be due to several factors, including lack of training, lack of support by her Board of Health, and general lack of ability to utilize technology in an efficient way. The Board of Health has ignored several requests made by myself, the superintendent, and their own public health nurse to allow me access to Groveland and Maven in order to provide the Pawtucket Regional School District with accurate COVID-19 data. Case totals, case contact totals, pertinent data that helps analyze the metrics used to determine where Pawtucket Regional School District stands and when and if the school needs to be closed and for how long, and to effectively document the work that is being done for Groveland residents. I have a nurse that is experienced in contact tracing, staying up to date on guidelines, effectively using technology, and is willing to assist Groveland in whatever capacity they feel is needed. So I think you were told that this was gonna be brought up tonight. And like I said, I don't wanna blame anybody, but we, as a board, as a government, as a town, as residents, as parents, as, whatever, need to do a better job at tracing, contact tracing, and providing the information in a
May I
more.
interrupt for a point of information? Do we have this letter in our packet?
Nope, I just got it.
Okay, so we should have had this in our packet. We should have been given it when we came in the door. I don't have it.
That's why I read it.
Well, can we just get copies of it right now, please? I mean, it's,
So, what I want to understand is, I know technology
What?
is part of the hindrance, right? Because of the Maven system. But are we able to provide another nurse not in Groveland access to that system?
That's correct. You know, I've asked several times, and.
You've asked the Board of Health to grant somebody else the ability to view and help us
Correct.
do contact tracing, okay?
Correct. And, you know, I haven't gotten a straight answer, you know, so it hasn't happened.
But
And
we could
I-
allow it if we wanted to,
Oh, we could, because I spoke to Mass Board of Health,
okay?
okay? And they said, all we have to do is get permission from, you know, your committee. your
The Board of
chair.
Health Committee,
Correct,
okay?
correct.
And they have refused to listen to,
Well, they're just not answering me. You know, I've asked them like 3 times.
can I interrupt for another point of information? Who wrote this? There's no name on the end of this.
I know, I didn't want to put a name on it.
Well, we should know who's giving us information. I don't know who's giving us this information. Am I the only one here that doesn't know? Everyone's looking at me really funny. Does anybody here know who wrote,
Claire, you know who wrote it, right?
who wrote it? I just read
You
the
can say it,
name.
I'm not gonna
Can I
say who
say
wrote it.
It's freedom of information. I want to know the
It's-
name of the person.
It's the Board of Health nurse in West Newbury.
So what is the name of this person?
Diane Darnetto,
Dardino,
Dardino.
I'm sorry, what was the name again?
Diane Darnito.
Dardino.
She lives here in town.
Yeah, she lives on Main Street.
And she's a Board of Health nurse in West Newbury,
Correct.
but she's
Correct.
not the one that they hired to oversee the
No.
tracing in the district, right?
Well, she does do it, yes, she
Is
does.
she the one, so is she the one that they hired, that Pentucket hired?
Correct.
So is she, in this capacity, is she acting as West Newbury or Pentucket?
Yes,
Well, which? One or the other?
both. She's working for West Newbury in conjunction with Pentucket, trying to gather information from 3 towns, but she's not getting information from Groveland that she needs to do the contact
Okay,
tracing.
so she wanted to write directly to us?
She wanted to write directly to me to bring it up tonight because she feels that we're putting the town at risk and the students at risk because
Okay.
we're not providing accurate, detailed, sufficient, timely information.
Can she provide
I
us?
was also asked by the superintendent to talk to this woman because we are not providing accurate, efficient, timely, detailed information.
Could they document that, just so I can have the backup for this? I'd just like to know, I mean, I know we have a really small Board of Health staff, but I'd like to know explicitly what they're talking about. What information wasn't documented?
I think it's all right there.
No, there's no dates in here, I mean, I've
It's,
been
it's,
following the
what it
online
is
posts.
contact tracing, which, that's what she was hired to do,
Yes.
okay?
So
But she's
what-
only
That's-
getting
that's what
2/3 of the
she's
information,
That's
correct?
what she was talking about.
Right. She's
Well-
getting 2/3 of the information for the region.
Well, I mean, she's getting 2 cases. One came in last night that I don't know anything about. The mother told the Bagnell school nurse that the mother of one of the children tested positive.
Mhm.
Well, she's not, she still isn't on my workflow
Right,
from the state,
right.
okay? So how am I supposed to check it? I can't. I don't have a number. I mean, you need an ID number to get into the case,
The Maven,
correct?
right. But are you going into Maven to look at that?
I look at it more than, sometimes it's half a dozen times a day.
But that information's not showing up in Maven.
It hasn't shown up yet. And she sent me an email today, the nurse down at the Bagnell, and said there was another case. That hasn't shown up. So I don't know what's going on with Maven. I didn't have time to call them today, this afternoon, when I kind of figured this out. And I got a call from Hamilton today, and she wanted to know about a case. And, you know, it's actually a Hamilton case,
Mhm.
and it hasn't shown up on her workflow. But it's someone that is selling a house here in town, okay?
So I think there's a couple of things we're talking about. We're talking about workflow, we're talking about information getting into the right systems, and then we're talking about contact tracing. of those people who.
Well, you know, this is what a lot of this is about, okay, contact tracing,
Right,
okay? And, you know, this Hamilton nurse didn't have this particular person's name who was selling the house in Groveland, so she thought maybe the name came up in Groveland rather than Hamilton. So that's why she called me, to check with me to see if I had seen it, and I hadn't. So, I think there's a glitch going on as far as that goes, but, on the other hand, as far as contact tracing, when I started that job, there was no one, absolutely no one, that gave me any kind of orientation,
right, I believe it.
okay, period.
yep.
Because the prior nurse just quit.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just, I've been kind of flying by the seat of my pants.
So I guess what we need to find out is, and like I said, I'm not blaming, I'm not trying to embarrass anything. I just want to make sure that we're performing the best that we can. And if that means we need more resources, then so be it.
I definitely need a helper,
So this woman said that she knows of a nurse that is competent in all these areas, and that we could
Her,
essentially.
it's her.
No, it's somebody else.
Oh, she's got a helper in West Newbury.
Right, but we could ask for that help in Groveland and request COVID funds to pay for it.
Correct.
I think that from my perspective, and I'm only one person up here, but from my perspective, that would be a good use of resources to help you and the
Absolutely.
Board of Health
Absolutely.
assist not only the residents of Groveland, but assist the superintendent of schools to help make sure the schools stay as safe as possible. That's my opinion. Everybody else can have their own opinion, but I would suggest that we do that. What do you think?
I totally agree,
Okay?
but it's gonna have to come from you folks.
Well, partially come from us, right? Because, I mean, we can request COVID funds, we can request that we bring this woman on as an additional resource. But as far as the Maven access and everything else, that comes from your board. I can't tell them to do anything.
Oh, Yeah.
They have to realize that that information is not being relayed timely or efficiently or anything.
Right.
And if this woman can help us do that, and all we have to do, or they have to do, is say, yes, we grant her access to help us, then so be it. I don't know why we wouldn't do that.
Well, I think some of this business with Maven is that the contact tracing isn't being done on our end.
Right,
So that's throwing things off at the school
right,
because of the contacts,
right,
okay? It's not the positive cases that are messed up,
right.
okay?
It's the positive cases and who they've been in contact with. That's
Correct.
messed up.
Correct.
That needs to be fixed. So
Yeah.
we need to figure out a way to best address that and to best fix that as soon as possible, again, from my perspective. Now, everybody else has their own opinion and is welcome to jump in, when I'm done talking, but I think that that would be the best course of action as soon as possible. I know Kathy wants to say something.
I love the way he looks at me. I can see the wheels turning. Actually, Claire and I had a discussion before I saw this about additional help, just because statistically, I look at the numbers, I follow the numbers. I realized we had a problem with the students in the high school from a pickup game that I think occurred perhaps in West Newbury.
Right.
And it ended up with, 11 students from Groveland are quarantined.
Actually, I got 14 names.
Okay, 14, the number grows. So, I agree. I mean, we knew when the schools opened that there would be issues, and it doesn't mean there's 14 students with COVID. It just means, unfortunately, they were within 3 feet, is it?
6 feet.
Is it 6 feet, 15 minutes or more without a mask on? That's the protocol. So, right here, you would have a problem.
Yep.
And I mean, it took me a while to kind of wrap my head around it at school, to always keep my distance, keep my mask on. Don't take that risk, because you don't want to have to be quarantined when you're not sick. So I think bringing in additional help at this time is a very good idea. I think we should draft a letter to the Board of Health, telling them that we're going to move forward with it, and we'd like their support and their assistance with it, because obviously, we're not the Board of Health. But I will point out, like at the beginning of all this, though, that our Board of Health, the Joe, was out there in the field working with the businesses. I know he was, and finding people that weren't masking up at, the gas station, telling them to mask up. And if we need more of that to happen again, then maybe we have to increase Joe's hours, right? I mean, we haven't spoken about this for quite some time.
If we can assign it to COVID funds, then maybe we do that. I think the primary response should be that we bring on someone who can help with the contact tracing.
Well, I agree for the schools, but I mean, this made things like our businesses don't know what they're doing, and I wasn't aware that they were unaware, because I thought that they were all visited during the shutdown. It was explained what had to be closed, and when they were allowed to open, they were told what had to happen in order for them to open, what had to be in place. I think that information was communicated.
It was supposed to be.
Well, I thought it was.
Well, thought and is are two different
I
things.
know, and that goes to the, I also assumed that we had posted the signs down at both of our parks, and I've since found out that our Pines Recreation doesn't have signage. And so I guess, as we went into this shutdown and we thought everything was being done, now we have to step backwards and let's make sure we get it done and get it done right. Get the signs up at the businesses, all the businesses should have signage up, all of the parks should have signage up. People coming into any public building should come in with a mask on, and if you get up from the table, you should mask up. All these protocols help stop the spread, and they help keep us all from ending up being quarantined, shutting down our town, losing all of our personnel.
Ed, anything?
No, I think, I remember Claire asking for some help a while back, and I'm just not clear, is it the Board of Health that has to give the okay for that, or the Selectmen?
I think it's the Board of Health.
Board of Health?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can draft a letter, and we can ask them
Yes.
for support of this, but it's up to them. They could tell us no.
I mean, I'll go to Deb again.
I mean, I'm happy to do the letter, that's fine. But ultimately, it's their
Well, I
decision.
think you should relay some of this information, maybe. I mean, if it, do what you want with the letter. I'm
You
not
think it's
sure,
gonna
I'm
matter?
not sure the best way to do it.
Well, I mean, we could
I
have a
mean,
discussion.
like I said, this is all about contact tracing.
Right, right, and that's what the school's asking us for help on.
Yeah,
And if we don't have the expertise or the experience to do that correctly, then we need help to do it.
right. Right.
Or the personnel to do it.
Right.
When we started this, we didn't have to do contact tracing. We were specifically told we
Correct.
didn't have to.
Correct.
That
Well,
was the first statement from
they
the
had
state.
1,000 people, the state hired 1,000 people
Right.
at the beginning
They
to
laid them
do
off.
contact tracing, and then they laid off all but 400.
Right,
Of course they did.
and now they gotta bring some back on because the numbers are rising.
Are they gonna do that?
I don't know, they should, whether they do or not, that's not my
Well,
call.
if they can dump it back on the towns and cities, then they probably will.
Okay,
I mean, I'm just speculating.
Jason, you got anything?
Well, does the Board of Health meet? When do they meet?
I don't even know the last time they met. Do you know when the last
Can I
time they
take the
met?
5th?
Of,
Fifth Amendment.
oh, you said you take the fifth.
Yeah.
I thought you said the fifth. You didn't give a month, you just said the fifth.
She may incriminate
You take the
herself.
fifth. So we don't know when that last time they met. I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's probably months, but that's a guess on my part, so we don't know. Is that your only question?
No, who do we contact about getting on their agenda?
Secretary,
Who's that?
Laurie Benson.
Okay.
So I think, we should probably get on their agenda.
That'll be a start. I mean, I don't wanna have to wait 3 weeks for a meeting to happen. Ed?
No, not at all.
Does this person have to be a nurse?
I know this person is a nurse.
No, if
That's
we hire
helping her
somebody,
in
does
West
it have to be a
Newbury?
nurse?
She is a nurse, the one that's helping in West Newbury.
Oh, okay.
But in order to get into Maven, you have to be a nurse. I believe that's the case. I don't think they just wanna let anybody go in there.
Well, I'm not sure.
Because of HIPAA and all that stuff, I think they have to be
I'm
a
not
registered nurse.
100% sure.
I mean, I'm 99% sure that that's the case, but what do I know? Bill?
I sit here on October 13th, 8 months into this, and I am absolutely dumbfounded by the fact that we haven't thrown every resource we could possibly find at this. I am speechless.
Well, when I found out that, West Newbury expected Groveland to do contact tracing, I was like, I don't know how to do it,
When was that? Do you
Oh.
remember?
It was at least a month ago, maybe more.
This would be different, I think, if we were in a large city.
Oh, it would
All
be
the-
so different, Bill.
All the students
So
went to
different.
one school. However, the failure for someone to realize we're in a regional school district, and a student that may attend Bagnell may also attend the middle school, and a sibling may also attend the high school.
Right, it's the
All at the
siblings.
same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Is just.
And the
I-
rules on siblings is not accurate either.
You're right, I think
Well, it's
8 months in, it's a
ambiguous.
failure of monumental
It really
proportion.
is,
Yeah,
because if they don't have symptoms, then they can go to school,
right.
okay?
However, we know scientifically, 40% of all the cases come from people that are asymptomatic.
Right.
So it's so important that when you're exposed to someone that has tested positive for COVID, and you have surpassed the CDC guidelines of exposure limits, that you need to be tested. You should go out and get yourself tested. And the contact tracing is vital in that, because you may not know from your brief exposure to an individual that that individual tested positive, unless someone lets you know that you were in contact, our records indicate you were in contact with such and such an individual on such and such a date for an extended period of time. That individual is tested positive. It's in your best interest now you get tested positive. And if you have a family situation, all your family members should also get tested at that point, just to contain the spread, right? That's the whole idea behind contact tracing, right?
And this contact tracing takes a long time to do.
Oh, I'm sure it does, and
It-
I'm
it
sure it's
really
not
does,
easy. It's not like a Venn diagram.
You're right.
Exactly,
Yep, I know.
exactly.
Depending how active that person is, it might entail contacting hundreds of people.
Right.
They may have contact in a couple of days.
Well,
period.
there were a lot of contacts going on
I have a
down the
question.
school.
I remember when this COVID, when we began the shutdown, and you would find a household with a positive case. You'd say, well, we just assume the rest of the family's going to probably have it.
So
So
shut
they
the
all
whole
stayed
house
home.
down.
They all stayed home.
Right.
Or were
Right.
told to stay home
Right,
until there were no symptoms. And the minimum stay home was 14 days. I
Correct.
believe, Right? So it was stay home for 14 days or until there's no longer a member of the family with any COVID symptoms.
right.
So,
So now it's changed.
well, that's why I'm trying to, I do not understand who changed it or why, because if a student's brother or sister, someone they live with, has COVID, then I would assume our rules that we've been using in Groveland would mean that house is now under quarantine. And the
Right,
parents
right.
can't go to work, and the children cannot go to school, but what I just heard a few minutes ago is that this has been changed, and I'm wondering
Well,
who changed it?
CDC changed all these things. All the changes came from CDC. So if someone, the first one in the family tests positive,
Yes,
okay, they go get a test. Now, maybe they were exposed 4 days before,
okay.
okay, and then they became symptomatic on the 4th day or 5th day. So then, the day they test positive, okay, that's the day they start 10 days of
Okay.
isolation,
Okay,
okay? But the other people that were in contact, okay, asymptomatic, they're contacts, okay? Then they have to be on quarantine for 14 days.
you mean even if
That's
they're
what they
not in,
changed it to,
if they're not in the household or if they're in the household?
either or.
So if you've been
And
with
if-
somebody for 15 minutes without a mask and they're positive for
And you're part of
COVID,
that contact tracing,
You're part
you're
of the-
supposed to quarantine.
you're
Right.
supposed to
Right,
quarantine.
14 days.
But I thought you just said a few minutes ago, however, the family of the person who is positive for COVID,
They just changed that again, you know, so if, there's like a kid that was exposed, okay, so this kid has to go on for 14 days.
okay, he
Okay.
doesn't have it though.
Doesn't have it, okay, tested negative, but he's a contact,
Okay,
but may test positive, okay? So even if he does test positive, then the siblings, if they're asymptomatic, according to what I read, they can go to school.
That's my understanding.
That's your understanding
even
too?
if they have a positive case in the house.
Correct,
They can go to public school.
right.
That's my
But,
understanding.
you know, you want to make
That's
sure,
my understanding.
you, it doesn't make any sense to me,
No,
you
Well,
know?
if you recall, the original CDC guidelines for school reopening were deemed too tough by certain people, and they were watered down. And this is what we have, a watered-down version now. Because politically, it wasn't appeasing, to close down the schools.
Excuse me.
So we had to adjust, and this is what we have. And it works probably well in, like I said, a large city where everybody goes to one school within the city, but in a regional school, it probably doesn't work as well, because you do have that possibility to cross-contaminate several schools within one household if the
Right.
family is large enough.
Right.
And they're spread out
Right.
enough.
So I don't know, there's gotta be a better system, you know, but,
It just doesn't, I can understand why they
That's what
would,
it is
with
now.
contact tracing, tell us one student who just had contact but no symptoms to get tested, if they're negative, still tell them to stay home for 10 days, but not tell that whole family to stay home as long as that person tested negative at that point. Because otherwise you have just so many people quarantined, it would get out of hand, but I still would think in a situation where a positive COVID test is found in a household,
you would think, you'd like to think that the whole house would be closed down,
that makes sense.
you know? It really
does
does.
the school district have any, ability to set a protocol for that? Why don't they set the protocol then?
They
file-
can't change what comes down from the state, and the state is following CDC. Okay, we can add to it, like boards of health can add more restrictions, but they can't change it.
I mean, it's illogical right now that you take a person who's just a trace person and put them at home 10 days, and yet the sibling of the student with the positive test is told to go to school? Are we sure we have this right? I can't believe that's right. I read.
That's
the
what you
law.
read, or,
I don't think that's it.
I'm hoping I'm completely wrong.
I think it's wrong, yeah.
well, that's what I read today.
But I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at those, but I did read them all when they came out.
Anyway,
So, back to the help.
so I will talk to Deb. I'll
Okay.
send her an email.
But I think this board is in agreement that we want to bring in help, to help you, to help the Department of Health, help facilitate better information, better contact tracing, better help to the school. you know,
Yeah, I
regardless
don't
of-
know who's generating that report,
Which report?
you know, West Newbury's.
Oh, it says the Board of Health. I mean, I don't know who on the Board of Health is doing it, but it says the Board of Health. You're welcome to take it if you want to read it. It's on their website. West Newbury Board of Health, October 9th.
I think it's prepared by their Board of Health.
What's that?
I think it's prepared by their Board of Health. I don't think any one individual is accredited to the entire.
Yeah, this says
process.
contact the health agent, Paul Signy.
We have a part-time health agent and a part-time nurse. I mean, West Newbury has always had more staffing than Groveland. So I think we should issue a letter, telling the Board of Health that we will be supportive of a request for, additional support and the hours, but I think we need to get that letter sooner than later, because I believe Ellen has to put in for this
Yes.
in certain cycles, if I'm understanding it correctly. There's certain deadlines to get your paperwork in. for this.
Yeah, I was on one of the calls, I think,
Yeah.
actually, there was a cutoff for the 15th or something. I
And
thought I
then there's
remembered.
another one coming
Yeah.
up, and, so we need to make sure we get this in quickly.
So let's,
If this is covered by the CARES Act, I'm amazed we haven't put this in 8 months ago. To be perfectly frank, right? I mean, if there's money available to us to help us, and we didn't take advantage of it, shame on us.
We were told not to trace 8 months ago.
Right.
We were told, no, don't do that, the state's doing all that.
It's not just the tracing. It's.
There was
Ms.
nothing
Walsh
open
has
8 months
said
ago.
to us, there's a lot more involved than just
Right.
the tracing. And
Yes,
that's
do you want this?
where we
Yeah.
could use help.
Yes, and I think we should just be supportive, and hopefully they can come up with an estimate of what.
So Kathy, why don't you make a motion that we do this supportive letter?
I make a motion for a supportive
Thank you,
letter
Kathy.
to the Board of Health, to request, additional hours, and ask them to quantify them from this date to December, the end of December, because I think that's right now the end of the COVID funding, unless it
Yes.
gets extended. So we need those hours quantified for that period of time.
Claire, do you have an idea of, you're fogging up again, any idea of how many hours? I mean, I think we gotta put in a number, even if it's high or low.
To do the contact tracing?
Right, that we could bring this person on to do this?
I don't know. You know, they gave me 6 additional hours in addition to the 6
Right,
that I have as a Board of Health to do the COVID things, okay? And I can tell you, sometimes I'm on the computer for hours.
so are you thinking maybe like 15 hours to put in for? That be enough to cover that for a week? Or do we just say 20 or 30 and see what happens?
I think 15, well, I don't, you know what? I can ask the Board of Health nurse in West Newbury.
Okay. I mean, because if I remember the call that I was on, the 15th stays in my mind for something as a deadline.
There are deadlines.
Right, so,
I know there's something else coming up, you know, to get more money.
right, so I think if we can put it in tomorrow, if Alan can put it in tomorrow, that'll help us. So if you can, find out a ballpark number of hours, I'm thinking 15 or 20 just to do the contact tracing and anything else like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if she can help with that number of hours, then we put that in as a COVID fund
Okay.
expense.
Okay.
But we can't just say additional nursing help without putting a number next to it.
Right, right.
And there's an hourly rate that would go along with that too.
It's $30-something dollars.
I think it's more than that. But,
It's like 36 or something like that.
Even still, you know, the fact that we've gone from green to yellow suddenly, I think is
That was all the school
right.
that did that.
But I think that
But-
aids in our
need.
cause to
Yeah.
try to get more funding.
Right, right. But
course it
in
does.
addition, we wound up with 6 or 7, it was probably 7 at one time, houses within 2 weeks on quarantine.
let's,
So 6 puts it into yellow.
Right,
let's request 20 hours.
yeah, let's go.
That'll give, yeah, I mean, if they don't approve it, they don't approve it, but let's request 20 hours, let's ask Ellen to get that in tomorrow. And then, before the cutoff, and then if it has to be more, then we'll go back, if it's less,
Okay.
then great, we don't.
So are you gonna do that from here?
Catherine, can you do that with Ellen tomorrow?
Because it is,
Send her a note right now.
you're right, it is the 15th in this letter, an email from Al.
Yeah.
October 15th, yeah,
Um,
it's the 13th.
and then, parallel to that, let's get something drafted to the Board of Health saying that this is what we're doing, we request to be on their agenda at their next meeting, and we're requesting that you get the assistance for Maven.
And I do have a question. I'm only seeing 2 people on that board,
Correct.
They're down one person.
so that's all I need to have a quorum,
Right.
right?
Yep.
All right, so that's that topic. That's
Yeah.
fun.
When do they meet? They meet at night or during the day?
They haven't.
They really, honestly, they haven't been for a while, unless they're meeting without my knowledge. Okay.
On their website, it shows the first week of every month.
And there must be minutes to those meetings.
It looks like I didn't read them, but it does look like.
Well, let's not wait until the beginning of November if we can. Let's
No, I mean, we,
Ask them to have a
we
meeting.
need to do it now.
ask them to have a meeting, whatever night it is, so we can attend and get this fixed.
Okay, all right. That'll be
Um,
good, I appreciate it. It's
motion?
unfortunate that it had to take this.
I
She
did.
did a long time ago.
Yeah,
I did,
we got off the rails. So did anybody second it?
I'll second it.
thank you.
Do you remember what it was? It was something about the contact tracing and the amounts and the Maven and the hiring.
20 hours.
It was
a
about
week.
drafting a letter.
Draft a letter,
All right.
20 hours to Alan, so Ella can get it in by the October 15th deadline.
All right, so we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, let's get this moving.
Okay,
The other couple of things, I think are real quick, yard sales, not a lot happening, not a lot
I
of requests, but
haven't.
they're going all
I
right, I
haven't
think.
heard much at all,
Right.
just one sporadic one here and there.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
nothing really there, so that's good. And then opening of town buildings, I don't know that we wanna do that. I think we have it on the agenda every week. I don't know that it's necessary. I think things are working the way they are.
things seem like they're working well.
I know there's a couple people who wanna come in on their own accord and kinda meet with people, but that's up to the department
Well,
heads if they wanna go out and meet with people that
Yeah,
come there,
I
but,
know they're meeting some people out in the parking lot.
right. But I don't think we wanna open it up in general to everybody.
You know, I think that what Kathy wants to do with the toilets and the bathrooms is really more important right now. I mean, do that first.
Yeah, no, that's
because
fine,
People are gonna be wanting to go to the bathroom,
right.
and who's gonna be cleaning them in the interim?
Yep. So whenever those funds come in for those projects and those changes, then we'll get those addressed. But until then, I think we stay the course as is.
Mhm.
Okay.
May I ask a question about the signage? As I said before, I just have assumed certain things, and I forget how small our town is, and perhaps the signage that was put up at Washington Park was paid for by the baseball league there. I assumed that we had done that, and I guess maybe I'm wrong, because there's no signage at the Pines Recreation, and I did see a baseball team on the bleachers 2 Saturdays ago, shoulder to shoulder with no masks on. Now, on the good news, the coach and the umpire on the field had a mask on, but the rest of the guys in the team did not have anything on, and I thought, well, we don't have a sign up either, it doesn't say, you know, before you go in the bathroom down there, you should mask up. I saw parents had their children on the playground, the parents had a mask on, I thought that was good to see. But I thought, well, if they need to take their child into the restroom, they should be assured that anybody else in there is masked up, you know, because you're crossing paths. So, we need to have that enforced at the Pines Recreation, we need signage up there. Just based on that one observation, I mean, I was, you know, it was the middle of the day, like 1:30 in the afternoon, and again, the field, the people in the field were great. It was the rest of the team that must have been waiting, I don't know whether they're not using the dugouts maybe, which would be a good thing because of COVID, but they were not masked up at all on the little bleachers that they were sitting on.
I don't know where the signs came from. Do you?
I
Signs
know-
originated from the softball league, when they were really trying to get their going. And I thought they were a great idea, so I asked Rennie to copy the signs and place them on the baseball field as well, and that's why the bleachers are roped off now.
But there's no sign there.
I think they've fallen
All the
off.
signs have fallen off
Oh,
or been
okay.
ripped down by kids
Oh,
or
well, let's get
whatever
them back
over
up.
over the
I mean,
course
if
of
we're gonna
time.
have people on the baseball field and on, using the bathrooms, I want we should advise them what we expect them to be doing when they're on that site. I mean, how else will they know that that's what we expect of them? The town hall doors are posted as they should be. If you come inside, you put your mask up. The bathroom should be posted and the field should be posted.
Well, you can ask for new signs, and whether or not they stay is
So-
another item.
So is it Rennie that did that for us, or? like I said, I've just noticed they went up at Washington Park, and I assumed they went up everywhere else,
And ask
but
the highway department if they can have others ordered to put down there, but I don't,
They just printed them out.
They printed them out, like I said, it was started, the softball folks were the ones that originally cordoned off the area with the rope and then put the signs on there. And then when the baseball started, I thought that was a great idea and approached Rennie about mimicking what they had done to the softball field to the baseball field.
yeah.
Which he did. He cordoned it off the bleachers and then put the signs. But over the course of time, again, the signs are gone. But irrespective of whatever rules the Board of Health has, and I'm not sure how long you stayed down there.
only a couple minutes.
Only a couple of minutes. So what you may have saw is a quick transition. I have the first game every Saturday. There are 3 games, and I stay down there for all the games. And before all the games, I meet with the umpire and the 2 managers and let them know these are the simple rules. The offensive team has 1 batter, 1 on deck, and then 2 in the dugout at each end of the dugout. All other players and equipment must be outside in the roped-off area with the bleachers, and all players must have a mask on. All managers and coaches must have a mask on at all times. So what you may have saw in that brief time that you came was the defensive team coming off the field, getting ready to go on offense, and they hadn't masked up yet.
No,
But-
no, they were on the field playing. These kids were sitting on the bleachers, horsing around, and they had, none of them had a mask on.
Right, well,
In very
depending,
close proximity. I mean, it was there like 5 minutes or so, and I just took a look around, I looked at the playground, I looked at the bathrooms. Again, the signs, I think, are still up at Washington Park. The signs have to be not paper, they have to be durable, and they have to be firmly attached. And
oh, they weren't paper, they were
And I mean, if they-
laminated, they were
if they're,
attached with
you
a
know, if they're not
zip
gonna
tie.
follow the rules to use our parks, then I don't think we can allow them to use our parks right now, especially in light of what's going on in our schools. I mean, this is not something that I feel that we can play around with. They need to, it doesn't matter whether it's transition, not transition, the masks are on when they're on those bleachers. And when they go into the bathrooms, whenever they leave the, you know,
And I agree, and I know I'm down there for 6 hours, not 5 minutes, so I observed both baseball and softball. I remember them both, but I don't know who we can get to be bathroom monitor, and I don't know who to get to monitor the playground or the basketball courts
I'm
or
not
the dog
monitoring, I'm
park.
saying putting a sign on the bathroom that says you mask up before you enter, just like we have the sign. These are the protocols
Well,
that
yes,
the
we had
state.
signs at the basketball courts early on, but the signs don't guarantee enforcement. And that's where we ran into the problems, trying to say, do we keep the parks closed, do we open them?
Well, perhaps we're
because we
gonna end up
couldn't sit
closing as we go from
a-
yellow to red. I mean, it's gonna be
a-
up to us. Everybody has to take part in this, and I mean, I'm not saying we have to sit down there and watch people. If people will not follow posted signage, then we will have to close our park. I don't wanna do it. But that's the consequences of us moving from yellow to red would mean the library can't open, all these things can't happen. That's the consequence of these colors. These colors are not just a game, they're a
And
designation.
it doesn't really give you a lot of leeway.
No, they
Okay.
don't. They don't give you leeway at all. I
No.
mean, these are the rules. We have to follow them.
And if everything keeps going the way it's been going, and these are all just contacts, then, we've got one house still on quarantine, that's it.
Yep.
And one person in that house, I just found this out, tested positive, and, I did that whole interview. And I actually interviewed the husband too, and I was waiting for him to, come on if he was positive, and he didn't. So when I talked to her today, because she should be off in a day or two, he had tested positive 3 times, and it never showed up in my workflow. So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So there's something messed up.
Well, I did a test on Thursday at the free site. I'm in a school building. We've had some instances. Came back negative, but I'll tell you this, I got an email on Saturday from one place that said negative, and then I got another one on Sunday from another lab that said negative, so I'll be glad to share it too.
Two negatives
Yeah.
from two different places?
Yeah, I was like, well, they already told me, why are they sending me another message? But,
And you had one test.
yes, just one test, yep, just went Thursday from work. and
Why
it
would they
was-
send it to another lab?
I don't know. I'll show you the two emails and you can maybe decide.
I had a
which
test
one.
in North Carolina, 3 days later, I had one result.
Yeah, it makes me
I got
question
two
reliability.
separate, maybe, that's what it looked like to me, because I got one on Saturday, and then remember
And there were two different ones.
well, I don't need that.
All
This
right, well, let's
whole
move
co-
on, because
let's
we're gonna
move
be
on.
here all
This is so
night.
confusing,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you
Okay,
this,
that's it for now. Let's see if we can get,
well, how about if we
better.
tell
Okay.
people about the free sites, because it is really simple. If you go in the afternoon, there was like only 3 cars ahead of me, I went to the one that was by the butcher's uptown.
Now, are they still gonna leave those open till just like the 15th, Kathy?
That was the date
'Cause
I
that's what I
read.
heard originally.
It'd be great if they kept it further, but there's no money involved, you don't even show an insurance card, you fill out a form with your name, your phone number,
And you don't need an order.
excuse me, no, you don't need
No.
a
Need
document,
an
you
order.
need nothing, but you should bring your own pen. They will give you one, but you could bring your own pen and you fill out the form and then, it's pretty easy, you
Bill?
know.
Claire, 2 quick questions. New cases in the last couple of weeks?
We had, let me see, hold on one sec.
7, 5?
Last couple of weeks?
2 weeks.
Since we last met.
Okay.
10?
So it was, when did we last meet? Like the 28th or something like that?
20,
Yep, every 2 weeks,
29th?
yeah.
Okay.
September 28th.
Okay, so. On the no, okay. So on the 30th, there was one, and this was related to the school,
Mhm.
so, and it was confirmed, the test was confirmed. But she wound up with this whole chart in West Newbury. And, let me see, there was one on 10-1, 2 on 10-1, 1 on 10-5, and then 10-5 again. There was that one, and then the husband tested positive 3 times, but he never showed up.
So 6.
Are those students?
That's what's on the website.
Are those students?
No.
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 And by my math, that would bring the total case count in Groveland to 57?
54,
54,
54.
48 and 6.
And I checked it on the state, and that's what it was, 54. Because, when she told me originally that our count was off, I was like, wait a minute, how could we be off, So I checked the state, and they had the same amount, so, I think, all this confusion is related to the tracing.
Yeah, we need to get that fixed. One more question?
No, I
Yeah.
had 49 cases plus 655 should be, according to my math.
Sometimes
Well,
they can make a
that one
correction.
with the 2, the guy that just came in, from the wife,
Counted twice?
no, he wasn't counted at all. So he's not on our count. So I guess that's good, in a way.
Did it?
Yeah.
All right, Claire,
All right,
we'll try to address this stuff. and
yeah,
get changes.
any help you can give me with this is
Do our best to request it. Thank
much,
you.
much appreciated.
I'm gonna jump around so Rebecca and Beth don't have to stay here. So let's go to town clerk discussion, early voting, mail-in voting, election day, and ballot information.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, have a seat.
You should
What do you
take
got
down
for
that
us?
sign.
If you wanna be the Board of Health.
No, they're busy enough. No, I just wanted to thank you for letting me come to speak tonight, to speak to the residents of Groveland regarding the state election on November 3rd. The legislature did vote to allow mail-in voting and early voting for this November 3rd election. The information covered tonight is also on our website, which for the Groveland residents, it's www.grovelandma.com. There are 3 items that I wanted to cover. One is vote by mail, one is early voting in person, and the third is voting on election day. So for a vote by mail, that requires an application to be filled out to request a ballot. For everybody to know, the last day to register to vote is Saturday, October 24th, and there are in-person hours available from 2 to 4 and 7 to 8 p.m. The last day to submit an application to request a ballot is October 28th, which is a Wednesday at 5 p.m. I brought a piece that I got from someone. When you request a ballot and you fill it out, please ask the residents to completely circle their choices on the ballot. Don't exit, don't check it, because they don't go through the tabulator correctly. Please ask them to please circle your choices. Then you'll put the ballot back into the envelope, make sure you fill out the inside envelope, tuck that back into your white one that gets mailed back. They can either drop it in our brand-new drop box, which is outside the door to the left. It's red, white, and blue, and it's right on the left-hand side. You can drop all your ballots in. It holds about 2,000 ballots, so there's plenty of room for everything. Nothing was wet today with all the rain that we got. It's great. So please fill out your inside envelope, tuck it into the white one, return your ballot, and then it'll be received in. The state has a couple of websites. If you need an application, you can go through the state's website to get an application. You can also go on our website to get an application to fill out to request a ballot. There's also what the state is calling Track My Ballot. So once you do fill out an application, it shows whether that application was received, whether that ballot has been mailed out, and whether your ballot has been returned and accepted. So people can trace it all the way. And then on election day, that's the only day that we will feed those ballots through the tabulator. We're not gonna do any early tabulation. Okay? So for the second option is to early vote in person, which that runs from October 17th through October 30th. So it starts on a Saturday, finishes on a Friday, it runs for 2 weeks. The schedule is on October 17th and 18th, it's available from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday, October 19th through the Thursday, October 22nd, it's 8 to 4 p.m. On Friday, it's once again 8 to 12 p.m. The following Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and 25th, it's 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Thursday, again, the 26th through the 29th, it's 8 to 4, and then the last day is October 30th from 8 to noon. So that's the last day to vote in person early. Once again, you tuck your ballot into that envelope and it will be tabulated on election day, okay? Then on election day, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Due to the COVID restrictions, we had to kind of rearrange how people enter the building. We've done it for the last 2 elections, but just in case people aren't aware, anybody from Precinct 1 will enter and exit through the parking lot side door. Anyone from Precinct 2 will enter and exit in the veto room door, which is on the Main Street side. So if you're Precinct 2, park closer to the library. If you're Precinct 1, park closer to the outside door. The website has the list of streets so people can check in advance what precinct they are. It's based on what street you live on as to what precinct you are. So people can check that out in advance. They can also check it out when they arrive. We have big boards set up with the street names and which precinct. But just, if you have any difficulty walking, standing, try to know which precinct in advance so you park closer to the door where you have to enter and exit, just to make it easier. And then the other question that I ask is that people, if they're coming out on election day, because of the restrictions, we're limited as to how many people can be allowed in the room to vote at one time. So if you could check out the ballot in advance, know what you're going to vote for, read through the questions, know what your choices are, so that when you come in, you're as efficient as possible to allow as many people to get in and out of the building so we don't have long lines. And I thank you very much for letting me come and speak tonight.
Sure.
And most importantly, please come out and vote, everyone, for November 3rd. It's very important.
Sorry we kept you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions or anything I missed?
No, that
you
was
think-
pretty straightforward from our
They,
side.
they must wear they can't come in without a mask,
Thank
right?
you very
So
much, yes.
Are you going to have extra masks there in case somebody should forget? Will there be extra masks?
Yes, thank you. There
Okay.
are extra masks, there are extra hand sanitizing products, and we will clean the poles constantly throughout the day so that everything is new. When somebody comes in, you take a brand-new pen, you drop that pen off in a box after you've finished voting, and we clean those before anyone uses them again. So rather than having the pens be at the polling booth like it normally is, you actually take a pen with your ballot, fill it out, return your pen, drop your ballot into the tabulator, then you clean your hands to go out the door. We ask that people please don't use sanitizer solution while they're still holding their ballot. Because of the chemicals on the sanitizing solution, it's not good for the tabulator. So stick your ballot in first, and then clean your hands off afterwards before you go out the door. So, thank you, great question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me jump into,
And let's go to Rebecca with the land donation. Is that you? What do you wonder?
okay,
What
well,
do
what
you-
about the land donation? What's that?
That was Mike Dempsey,
What is your topic?
the CPC coordinator.
Oh, yeah, I saw that's right down here under items not reasonably anticipated.
Let's talk to Rebecca Oldham as Community Preservation Coordinator. Is that right? That's under the other heading, so let's jump around again. Come on up.
Okay.
We need a microphone.
Just turn over the sign. Oh, wait, stop. Do we have a cleaning
I
thing?
don't actually.
Then take this table, no one's used it. See, I'm used to this from school now. You know how many times I stop a student and say, no, don't sit there.
You sanitize the microphone?
The microphone we have to sanitize. What do we have?
Just don't get too close to it. Don't touch it. Just don't touch it.
I have,
Stand right there and talk. It's fine. You don't have to sit anywhere. This shouldn't be too long.
I can be loud.
Okay.
So the Community Preservation Committee had made a motion to have me be their Community Preservation Coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of their motion, they asked for the Board of Selectmen to approve that move as well. So what I did is I put together a memo that I submitted to Catherine that actually describes all of the actual tasks that would be associated with such move. So it had, everything from the minutes, agendas, coordination of the project management, and then also annual reporting to the state, helping with the applications, creating an application form, et cetera. So it had all those details in it. And so the CPC had voted to allocate up to $20,000 for the task of being the CPC coordinator. So I had proposed that it would be the full $20,000, and that the $20,000 that I've been allocated to do the Parks and Recreation Operations Maintenance Plan for this current fiscal year be split into two. So it would be paid out half this fiscal year and half the second fiscal year, so that it gives me more time to actually put the plan together, which I've already been working on currently this fiscal year. So I believe that the CPC would like the Board of Selectmen to also vote on that particular appointment for that position.
Is this something you're interested in?
Very much so.
I make a motion that we approve Becca Volden as Community Preservation Coordinator.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
great idea.
Sorry we kept you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So you're gonna start right this year, half doing the CPC and then half doing the other thing. That's
Exactly.
fantastic.
So it's not all at once.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see if I can keep
Kept
track
you
of
here
all
for
the
an
jumping. I know.
2 minutes.
Back up to discussion and possible vote, trick or treating. I talked to the police chief a number of times about trick or treating. He called me today about a number of things and asked if we had an update on what the town wanted to do for trick or treating. I did have Catherine put into the agenda documents the information from both Newburyport, I think Merrimack, I think Salisbury is also doing it, and I think Georgetown is also doing the same type of version of trick-or-treating, where we're leaving it up to individuals' houses if they want to participate, or if they don't want to participate. Taking their necessary precautions, wearing gloves, maybe putting candy in bags and handing out bags to people, maybe doing it in the driveway with a table as opposed to in the house, obviously, but there were some outlines for what the other towns are doing for trick-or-treat. My conversation with the chief was that this seems logical, it seems relatively safe, and it leaves it up to individuals to take part or not take part, so I figured adding this information onto the agenda would make the board's decision a little bit easier, whatever way they want to come down on it, to allow or not allow trick-or-treating. So, I'm in favor of it. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Bill, what do you think?
I don't know, I know a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about a hybrid, kind of a rolling.
Yeah, I mean, that was the initial discussion. In that time, I actually talked to the Newburyport constable, I think he's a constable, police chief, about what they were doing, and then they sent out this flyer, and then Merrimack followed suit, I think Salisbury, Georgetown, and a couple other surrounding areas. Because they had also talked about doing some kind of drive-through, walk-through type of thing, but they decided that, if people want to take part, they can take necessary precautions to do that, or not partake at all, and shut their lights off and say we're not participating. So it's up to individuals, and honestly, we can't really stop it, right? If people want to do it, they're going to do it. So I say we kind of say do it, but take the necessary precautions and be safe about it. So
We can set the hours, though. How about if we
the other hours in the surrounding town would be 5:30 to 7:30.
How
Probably
about-
appropriate to do the same hours.
No, how about earlier? That way the police have an easy line, sight visibility of what's going on, how many groups are moving through the town, and if there's a problem, it's gonna be easy for them to spot.
How early?
4 to 6. So the little kids, let them get out there and have fun, and let it be, easy to see what's going on.
I believe what both chiefs have told me is that the chiefs coordinate yearly, even in a normal year, when they're gonna do it, so everybody's on the same page doing the same thing.
Really?
Mhm.
You sure all the towns do the same hours? I didn't think they did.
That's what they try to do.
I just think earlier would have been better, because I think that certainly with the town being in the yellow code now, it's not a great time to have kids who are not related to each other out running around together, and I just feel that everybody needs to make a very careful decision here. But I agree, let them make the decision. I just wish we could move the hours up so that it'd be a lot easier to have a good idea on how many people are in our town and what's going on. Since Haverhill canceled. That's a big concern.
Well, what I had heard is the reason why they wanted to do Halloween and have people trick-or-treating was to try to limit the amount of house parties, which would be a far worse situation. And I think if you move those out, try to move those hours up earlier, you would promote time to have those parties later, particularly for the younger kids.
And
So
some people
I
still work.
think- Yeah.
And the younger
people
kids
work.
don't go out by themselves, they
So-
depend on their parents, who
Right.
usually have to get home from work and then try to wolf down a quick meal.
But it's a Saturday this year, that's why I thought it would work. But okay,
Yeah, and
Again, I
a lot of
think-
people do work on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think we should adapt probably Newbury's list, 'cause
Report?
completing it small enough,
Yeah.
where Merrimack's was like 4 pages, and I don't think anybody would make it through it.
it's
No, the
gonna
one-page flyer was pretty accurate, and,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like that a
common
lot.
sense too, and, I know we're relying on common sense, but, it's just, think about what you're doing and try to be safe about it. I'm okay with the suggestions from the surrounding chiefs and our chief, 5:30 to 7:30, but I mean, this is the board makes the decisions, I don't, so. Ed, anything?
No, nice to see like Newburyport and Merrimack the same hours. It should be, if you're gonna do it, it should be the same hours as those, and emphasizing that, again, as they both have, is that if people don't wanna participate, shut their lights off and respect that.
So if the porch light is off, that would mean you don't go to that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be going up to the door anyway, it should be something
Outside.
outside,
Yeah.
exactly.
That would be the adjustment. It should be outside at a table or something outside. And
Yeah.
no one should be in the house or near the door to the house.
Correct.
So does somebody want to make a motion on?
And all those things have basically been understood since time immemorial, right? If you don't wanna participate, you turn off the lights. If you don't wanna go out, you don't go out.
Yep.
I mean, so we're not telling anybody, are we re-educating anybody in this? I don't think
Except for
so.
the protocol, it's different this year with the COVID, to have the treats or whatever it is you're trying to let be taken outside of your home. You do not have them come to your door. I think that's
It's-
important.
It's really no different. I don't really
Yes, it
go to
is
my door.
different.
I put it out there and, you know, when the kids come home, I make sure I dump it all out and I check it like a responsible parent to make sure that
I'm talking
everything's
about the way
wrapped
they
and-
pick up. They're not gonna be ringing and knocking on doors. You're supposed to put a table outside, distance from your house.
Yeah, most people do that now, I think.
Well, that's what we're recommending. I thought that's what we're voting on.
No, we're recommending whether you have a trick or treat.
Aren't we sending a recommendation to put the treats outside the home?
What was on the recommendations from Newburyport?
I thought we were using,
In the yard or the driveway.
In the yard.
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
their
driveway. I
driveway.
mean, that would make the most sense, but
Yes.
again, you can't enforce
you can't
anything.
force it, but I mean, I think that makes the most sense.
So,
Post that on our website.
yeah, trick or treat in the yard, driveway, set up individually wrapped goodie bags outdoors for easy grab and go. Small groups, outdoor costume parade, physical distance, outdoor costume parade, that kind of stuff. Yeah, high risk is traditional trick or treat, knocking on doors and reaching into a communal bowl of candy, indoor costume Halloween parties, blah, blah, blah.
We're not recommending that.
No, that's on the high risk. We
Yes,
wanna
I like
stay
that they. put it
Moderate and
like
low
that.
risk.
Good.
So, someone make a motion on what they want to adopt and tell people what they can do
I'll make a motion
or not do.
that, we allow trick or treating and we adopt the Newburyport Halloween flyer, which gives a good breakdown of what the rules should be. And we probably should put something together, post it on the website,
5:30 to 7:30?
5:30 to 7:30.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Yep.
Be safe out there. Pumpkin Fest. I don't know that we want to do Pumpkin Fest this year. I did talk to Bill Dunn, who said that he was willing to donate some tractors and hay and some pumpkins, some other stuff to put out in front of Town Hall if we wanted to. But I don't know that we should have a Pumpkin Fest gathering like we did years past.
We can't.
Yeah.
'cause we're in
But he did
yellow.
say he would donate fall decorations if we wanted to decorate Town Hall,
Oh, that's nice.
so.
Let's,
Could we do the decorations in a spot down at the Pines and then do a drive-through if, for people that want to do the carving of the pumpkins and put them on display?
That's basically what we did for Pumpkin Fest, but we're not gonna do that this year. I mean, we can do it wherever we want, it doesn't really matter to me, but it was typically at Town Hall in the town field out in front of Town Hall.
I think the
That
diff,
would
I
prevent
mean,
a gathering, that's a.
Well,
yeah, it's a gathering.
but it's an easy drive-by, you can do it without pulling into the Pines and turning around and creating a traffic jam, as opposed to just driving by.
All right,
That's my perception, but,
Give the pumpkins 2 nights in the middle of the pines.
yeah, if that, right, they will all be in the water,
They won't be in the water. I mean, the animals will just,
yeah, that too.
Oh, that's true.
So, we want to approve that or forget it altogether? It's really up to you guys.
Well, if you go with it, instead of renting the staging,
Yeah.
you could take the benches, the bleachers that are down at the Pines and bring them up, and you could set them up at
Oh.
the town hall. They could pick those up with a bucket loader, bring them up here. Then you're not leasing the staging, you're not, you don't have somebody climbing up
That's a good point.
to put the pumpkins up on the staging. You're only going up, what, 4.5 feet maybe. You know, and there's a couple of bleachers that could be used down there. That seems to make a little bit of sense. People are gonna drop them off and that should work. Because you're not gonna be able to see them as well from the street, but, it's unusual year.
What?
We had a protocol for dropping them off, but that was Bill Dunn did that.
Yeah.
Is he volunteering to do that for us, or
He did not say that to me. He said he's
does.
volunteered to donate
some decorations?
land ornaments or land, or field tractors and hay and stuff like that to put out in, autumn stuff, not,
Oh, okay, so we.
not to do the whole pumpkin drop off and
Yes.
all that stuff, so.
Okay, so, yeah, if we decided we wanted to have this pumpkin fest, then we have to, have a protocol for dropping off a pumpkin.
I don't think we want Pumpkin Fest to have the way it's been in the past. I think we can have a display if you wanna drop off a pumpkin you carved and put it out there, like Ed said with the bleachers, and that's fine by me, but we're not gonna have a gathering of people with pumpkins and popcorn and cider and
No,
donuts
we
and
can't do
please
that.
and, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
because we don't know how many people. So, are we thinking that we're just gonna put the bleachers up and allow people to come down over a period of days and put a pumpkin up? Or,
Either that, they put them on the ground next to the hay that Bill puts out there, or whatever. I'm not in favor of the dropping off the pumpkins and displaying all that, and bleachers and people coming and going and dropping stuff off.
well, I think it's gonna be complicated.
I think it's gonna be complicated, I think it's gonna be logistical mess, I think just displaying fall items out there is probably good enough, but that's me.
What it's gonna be is gonna be a crowd collector.
Exactly.
People are gonna want to gather
Okay,
to look.
right,
It's, that's what it is.
things are complicated enough right now as we stand,
I prefer just the
decoration.
decorations and the display. but-
And if we can get away with trick or treat and do it safely, I think it's about all you can buy right now.
Are we ever getting a new town sign?
Yes.
Just
It's in the
curious.
budget.
I have that under selectmen time.
Oh, okay, I'll wait. Then I'm fine with the decorations, then I could go with that, and we'll just keep it simple this year.
So,
So do we need to make a motion?
yeah,
that
let's make a
we-
vote and a motion, and if you want me to, I'll contact Bill on the, whatever displays he was.
So make a motion that due to COVID-19, that we temporarily suspend Pumpkin Fest for 2020,
I'll second
unfortunately.
that.
But we're going to allow Bill to put out some
Decoration.
decorations.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think those kind of decorations are gonna draw the kinds of crowd that, several dozen carved pumpkins would.
Yeah, okay. Motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Let's, Mike's still on the line? Let's get him taken care of.
Is he awake?
I know we're jumping around a bit on the agenda, but let's get him taken care of so he doesn't have to hang on
So
all
the
night.
7 acres.
So land donation and 7 acres on Wood Street. Mike, you with us?
Yes.
Sorry for the delay.
I found it.
What do you got for us?
We talked about this last month. I talked about 2 properties that we were offered for donation. So one of them is ready for you to sign. That's the one on Wood Street, 7 acres.
Mm-hmm.
We got a document from the town council that can be signed by you to take care of the rest of the documentation. Property is up to date on property taxes and doesn't have any environmental issues.
Okay. And we have that paperwork complete for that land, yes?
Well, I hope so.
Right, that was part of the packet, yes?
Yes, it's,
Right.
the last part before correspondence starts.
Okay.
7.6 acre parcel, 39 Wood Street.
So let's get a motion, a second, let's have a discussion if we need to, and then we'll vote on that land.
a motion that we accept the donation of 7 acres on Wood Street, as written up by the town council.
Parcel 4139 Wood Street.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this is the one Mike said, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, this is like $150 off the tax roll?
Yeah, both of them are pretty small.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
The turtles have a new home.
Okay. Bill said if we want him to decorate, he will, so we'll figure out what he wants to do with it.
Good.
Fantastic. Nope, I got it. Let's go to vacation time front load benefit for Sam, Jocelyn, Rebecca Oldham, and Steve McPherson. So I think Denise supplied us with a letter on this.
Yep.
And basically, she explained what this entails and what it doesn't entail. So did everybody get a chance to read that and understand what she was talking about when it comes to voting on this piece?
Yes, I understand it.
Kathy does. Bill, do you understand?
On the front loaded for,
Yes.
yes. Yes, this is a one-time to make up for.
Yes.
Yes.
Ed?
I'm all set with that.
Jason?
Yes.
Just yes.
Oh, good.
You good? Okay.
I understand.
Yes, you're good. Okay. So someone will make a motion on that?
Sure, I'll make a motion that new employees or employees granted retro upfront vacation will be getting their time, will be eligible for the time upon their employment. However, if they resign, they are not entitled to any of the vacation that they have not reasonably accrued. Does that make sense? That's how I understand it. In other words, when they're hired, they have their 2 weeks of vacation.
Yes.
If they resign
Yes.
1 week into the next year, they do not get those 2 weeks of vacation the next year, even though it's front-loaded.
Right.
They have not worked long enough to accrue it. So they're allowed to take the 2 weeks during their first year. However, if they were to leave during the first year, they could owe back days if they have not reasonably accrued all those 2 weeks.
Right.
Correct, so I thought that's what I said. Close as I can get.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it?
Well, just move to adopt this.
Same thing.
Less wordy.
All those in favor? Fantastic. Bill said he'll put out some tractors and decorate and some hay and some other things.
Awesome.
Sweet. Interim finance director discussion. So, I had Catherine send over Kevin Pecos's resume. I talked to him, it must have been a couple weeks ago now, about his experience, what we were looking for, what he might be able to provide, as far as that bridge between where we are now and losing Denise and kind of the Band-Aids we have in place and the possible timeframe for a town vote on a town manager. After talking to Kevin, looking at his resume, which is very impressive, I think that might be worth the board's time to have him come in, see if there's a way to come to an agreement where he can supply what we need from a daily finance director role, and especially coming up on budget season, and to see if we can come to an agreement that works for him and his skill set and our needs, and then see if we can't come to some kind of job offering. But I thought it would be worth the board's time to at least bring him in after, if you guys have read his resume, to see, how he interacts with us, what his personality is. His background is obviously, is intense and covers a lot of things that the town finance director would do here anyways. So, I asked for you guys' input. Jason, did you?
Thank you, Trinity. I have not looked over his resume. It wasn't in the original package.
There's, huh?
It wasn't in the original.
It wasn't. He's very well-spoken, he has a lot of experience, he's been teaching and doing town administrative work for decades. He said that he's willing to help us in any capacity that we might need based on his skill set, in a part-time role, so I think that would benefit the town a great deal. I just wanna make sure that he's a good fit for what we need and what he can do. Ed, anything that you wanna?
Just looking over the resume, he's certainly well qualified. And just, some of the stuff is just mind-boggling.
Yes.
But hopefully, somebody that might be interested. Did he indicate how many hours a week that he would want to do?
He had indicated that, if he can't do what we need to get done in 2 or 3 days, then he shouldn't be in this business. So he seems to be pretty confident that within 3 days or less, coming here on a part-time basis, that he can fulfill the needs of the town and the needs of that department, so. I don't have any reason to doubt it based on his resume and the conversation I had with him. But he's open to coming in and having a discussion with us and see if it, would work out.
And right now, under the, this COVID pandemic, he's exempt from his hours and pay.
Yep.
Based on his retirement.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we should bring him in and talk to him.
He said he loves doing town administrative work, so he misses it, for whatever reason that is.
And it looks like he just sticks around, and since he retired, it looks like he just sticks around to quickly get in, do a little work until they hire somebody permanent.
Right, which is the position that we're in, right? We're looking for 18 months or so, hopefully. Did you look at it, Bill?
Oh, yeah, I was highly impressed by the resume, but it's, resume's only a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if the chemistry fits, this may be just the sort of stopgap measure that we've been praying for, that we thought we had at one time, to get us, to buy us the time to get us to that next level. I'm all for bringing him in tomorrow, unless you want to reform that search committee where, I know you're the only one to talk to him, you said?
I just had a phone call with him, yeah.
Move forward as fast as you can before somebody else nicks him.
Kathy?
He's certainly overqualified. We don't have a town administrator job.
Nope.
And I guess my question for the board is, I don't wanna waste his time at all. Are we contemplating reducing the salary and pay of the individuals that have taken on more of the responsibility if we were to bring this person in? I just wanna know if we're contemplating that as part of this decision.
Well, we would have to, I mean, that was the plan all along, right? If we didn't bring someone in town to do this role, then they would perform that role.
Okay.
And if we did bring someone in, then they would roll back to their normal hours and everything
Okay.
else they were doing. This
Would-
is a Band-Aid, what we're
Right.
in right now.
So we would be rolling back at some point, the
Yeah.
additional hours. Okay, and so, as with the one thing that I was concerned about was the treasurer, what is it certified treasurer, whatever that is, that was the one that when we were negotiating, with our current assistant treasurer, she said if we get to the point where Denise is not going to be our treasurer of record,
Mm-hmm.
would this person be allowed to be the treasurer of record and be bonded? Because that's a big question, that's the problem. for us?
Yeah, I have an answer for that somewhere.
Just before we bring him, you don't have to answer tonight, that would be my question, if we could get that question like answered before we bring him in, so we know.
I believe it, looking over his resume, he already had the certs, right?
I
To
didn't see it.
be a certified treasurer collector.
So is he currently? Is it, how long ago is it? It's a certification you have to maintain. So, anyway, that would be the thing, is like, I would like to, you know, we've had so many pieces to this puzzle. I need like a little spreadsheet with what we've done before, and then what we're gonna propose to do scenario-wise.
Yeah, so I have,
Yeah,
I did ask that question. Actually, Ellen asked me to find out about something that was related to that. Let's see. So. A law that pertained to Groveland, it appears to tie our hands a bit on who can be an appointment to interim finance director and who can't. I understand the accountant can't also be the treasurer collector,
correct.
but what are the options now? So that's what I asked Bill Hewig,
Right,
and then, I have a response from KP Law that I will send to Catherine, and then she can send to the board, which is it's a long answer.
and my second concern was just, he's talking about a couple of days a week, which is not horrible, but I would like to know what the range of hourly rate, or whatever it is, what are we talking about? Because if it's,
I did talk to him
if
about
it's
that.
that high, you know, like what happened to us the last time we got into that discussion.
It's not gonna be anywhere near that. No, I know, because he told me.
Because I don't wanna waste his time, that's
No,
all.
I asked him, and I don't wanna say too much about it, but it's not gonna be anywhere near that last discussion.
That's a very good response, thank you.
So,
So bring him in.
so there's one line in this response from KP Law that says, in my further opinion, there is nothing in the act that states that the accountant cannot act as the interim. That the accountant cannot act as the interim.
Right, the accountant can be the interim, but cannot be the treasurer.
Right.
That I know. So this person, this individual, if he came in, would he be able to be the treasurer? Be able
Well,
to take
that
on?
would be part of the discussion, but I think it's worth having him.
Right, because that is a stumbling block once we hit the point where Denise is no longer here.
You're right. So if you want, I can copy this. All right, Catherine, I'm gonna send this to you. If you want, I can contact Kevin, ask him what his availability is, and ask him to come in. Either we can have a special meeting, or we can do it at the next meeting.
Ever? I just can't do the middle of the day meetings at this point.
Why don't you see if we can get this done, get him in about a week, have a special meeting, just him on the agenda.
What's that? Not while I'm teaching.
All right, so I'll see what his availability is. If we can do something like 6 o'clock one night, and see if he's available.
Okay,
Whatever,
or-
we'll have
or
a special
earlier
meeting.
if he's available. It's not, it's just middle of the day. I can't do like noon time right now.
Let me do this too. All right, so, yes, you guys want me to do that? Is that
Sure.
the-
Yeah,
Yes, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
even if it's a Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So let me. Do this real quickly so I can not forget about it.
Okay, so we've done the whole first page,
Easton is a ways away.
done the second page.
Zoom might be better, we could all.
Yeah, I'm okay with Zoom too.
Okay.
what you're looking for.
I'm trying to attach this to the email that I'm sending Catherine, and it's not letting me. So I can get on with it. Where the hell is it? I'll do it later. Okay, so I will call him tomorrow. Let's see, so that is everything under discussion and possible vote. All right,
Yeah,
so
we're on page 2.
correspondence, we have email from Lynn Stanton regarding security breach. We have VC Park quarterly update. We have the resignation of Jeremy Lapone from the Water and Sewer Commission. And then under items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting, the appointment of Lynn Stanton to temporary town clerk for 106 King Street project, so we have to vote to approve that.
Make a motion to appoint Lynn Stanton as temporary town clerk as provided for in GLC 41, Section 14.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Fantastic. And then we have approved minutes from executive session September 4th, 2020.
Make a motion to approve executive session minutes from September 14th, 2020.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
All right, I got that to work. Nice. All right, and then we have approved the minutes from executive session September 28th, 2020.
Make a motion to approve executive session minutes from Monday, September 28th, 2020.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
Approve the minutes from executive session October 2nd, 2020.
I wasn't there.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the executive session for August 2nd.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yep.
One abstained.
One abstain. Thank you.
Let's see, we already did Rebecca. We have successful contract negotiations with Julie Yeba for the position of accessor manager.
Okay.
Do we have to approve that?
I think it needs to be
Stated?
because you guys did it.
Maybe, yeah, we already did that. That was the executive session, okay. Sidewalk improvement update,
Okay.
is that at the bottom of the packet?
Very excited about the project. The highway superintendent's share, the sidewalk inventory.
So that's a notification?
Yep.
And then 895 Salem Street permit issued? Yeah. 895 permit issued, okay. On the next agenda, can you put on the bottom, selectmen time? So we can have that, but we can just work through it. I have one thing for selectmen time. It has to do with the digital sign out front in town hall. It's been ordered, it's been finalized. When it's actually going to be replaced, I don't have a date yet, but that was done, just last week. So that is scheduled to be repaired.
What color is it?
Pink, I don't know.
This matters.
I didn't get that much information.
The red has got to go.
So that is, well, if it's the sign I'm thinking of, that should be adjustable to different colors.
Nice.
But,
I
again,
like red.
what do I
The red light district.
know? So that's all I have for selectmen time. Kathy, you have anything?
No, I guess the only thing I would like to say, being in the school building and teaching and, watching the students go through the school day with masks on and following the protocols, I think I'm really proud of these young people, going to school and doing their work under these difficult conditions. And it just surprises me, they have a very positive attitude, and they're working hard, and we're doing what we can to keep the schools open, so I'm just glad that it's working.
Bill, anything for you?
Real quick, just my heart goes out to the young woman that was killed on School Street 2 weeks ago,
It's like a month ago.
Monday, and to the, to our fine first responders that were on the scene as quickly as they could be. Unfortunately, it was nothing they could do, so that's, again, my heart goes out to that family. It's an unfortunate accident, and that's all.
Jason?
I've got nothing today.
Ed?
And just one thing, at the last meeting, we had asked for an update on the well, and we got that a couple days after our meeting, the day after maybe. Maybe we could just get a time frame from them. I know it says, once the hydrant flushing is completed, the well company will come in and redevelop the well.
I
And,
did see some cars down there Saturday at the well. I think I walked by there. I think there's a few, I thought they were working on it, but I didn't stop to.
maybe just a timeframe of when that, and I know with the water ban on, the no outside watering, is this going to necessitate an increase in rates because people aren't watering and using excess water? Maybe we could ask them that question, if they anticipate an increase.
Can you ask that to Colin, and if he wants to come into the next meeting to discuss, we can,
No, we don't need them to come in, you can just.
if he wants to
just
send an email.
response. Just send a response.
All right, someone want to make a motion at 6:23?
Motion to adjourn, meeting at 6:24 PM.
I'll second
Second.
that.
Those in favor?
Yep.